This meeting is called to order in accordance to the Open Public Meeting Act. Notice of this meeting was provided to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Highland Park Planet on January 8th, 2025, and was posted on Borough Hall website at www.hbborough.com and on the bulletin board of Borough Hall, 221 South Fifth Avenue in Highland Park, New Jersey, and has remained continuously posted as required by law. Fire exits are to the right and left of Council Chambers. Councilwoman Varga, could you please lead us in pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Mayor Foster.
Yes.
Councilmember George.
Here.
Councilmember Hill.
Here.
Councilmember Hirsch. Council President Kim Cho-Han.
Here.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Here.
Councilmember Vargas.
Here.
Borough Attorney Lack.
Here.
Borough Administrator Rivera.
Here.
Items on discussion and review of the rules of order. So we're gonna hop right to it and for attorney,
Yes. So
we're
today,
gonna ask you.
all right.
Right on.
Yes.
Because you're new.
Oh,
We
yes.
are- the-
Oh, sorry.
For Zoom purposes, that is, so just everybody just speak in a good voice.
Aloud.
Oh, okay.
It-
So that's
it-
the
it-
microphone?
Yeah,
that's the
it's up
mic
there.
for the
Gotcha.
Zoom,
So
just so
everyone
you know, so just
Here
for-
and project. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, no problem. All right. So today's special meeting was called just to go over the new rules or the changes to the rules of order that you all have adopted at your reorg meeting on January 7th. So I'm not going to go over, I'm not going to read out loud to you every little thing. You guys can read. But I just wanted to go through the changes that
Yes.
were done to the rules of order. So section 5, so the references to redevelopment entity meetings on page 2 have been removed because essentially Highland Park does not have redevelopment entity meetings anymore. Everything is done during their work session or during their general council. General meeting, sorry. So that was removed. Under the new section 6, Open Public Meetings Act, 1, 2, page 3. Essentially just details the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 instances of when, and this is just right out of this Open Public Meetings Act, of when the council can go into executive session. Essentially, the council needs to make sure they pass a resolution to go into executive session, have the discussions, and have a resolution to come out of executive session, and then go back into their public meeting.
Just one quick
Yes.
question. So we can have, say we're having this meeting and
Yes.
we say we need an exec session to do whatever, and then we come back out and we can continue on with the public?
Yes, but you need to have that, you need to have the
Published.
executive session published before.
Correct.
So you can't, so tonight we can't go into executive session.
Right.
The public doesn't have notice of it, but
Okay.
at your next general meeting or
Mhm.
your next council meeting, if you need to have an executive session, then
We
you
can
can.
notice that and then come back to the
Yes,
public.
notice it to the, yep.
Okay.
Yes,
That's good to know.
So number B,
yes,
matters the disclosure of which would jeopardize the receipt of federal funds.
yes.
Can we jeopardize the receipt of state funds?
You're asking her to speak on
You're So,
to defend that statute.
I mean, I don't know, it's not in this, if it's not there, I suppose we don't have. it.
you know what, I
It would
don't,
be the
I
same.
should have the public, I should have all OPMA memorized. I do not, unfortunately. But I will look into that and get back to you, but usually if I would assume yes, but I don't wanna, sometimes you know what happens when you assume.
Right.
Okay, so quorums, and I think there was no changes made to your quorums. Attendance requirements, I believe.
Is that something I think we should? delve a
We should
little
talk
bit
about the
deeper?
attendance
Yes.
requirements. Okay, so we can talk about that. Absolutely. Okay, so every council member must attend every meeting and participate in the agenda in order for the resolutions and any ordinances to pass. This is especially important when it comes to your bond ordinances, because bond ordinances require 2/3 approval of members present. So unfortunately, if we don't have a quorum, then resolutions can't get passed, bills can't get paid, employees don't get paid. Let's see. Any office of any person appointed by the council. If you fail to attend or participate in any meetings for a period of 8 consecutive weeks, which is right out of the municipal vacancy law, then you are considered to be vacant and you can be excused. If you're gonna have unexcused absences from the council does need to approve your continued absence, like if
Maternity leave, like we did
maternity
for
leave,
me.
exactly, maternity leave or
That
health
was-
issues,
yes,
or,
yes,
you know,
yes.
just so it's on the record, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to be,
No, not at all, please.
that's what I do. Every member must attend every meeting and participate for the agenda to pass. We just need a quorum. We don't need
Correct,
So
correct.
The way
We
this
just
is
need a
written,
quorum.
it makes it sound like everybody has to be here in order. for
No,
something.
obviously, and we don't have all council members here today
Right.
also, but you can't be abusive of it, you know, if
Right.
you're gonna be continuously absent, members of the public voted you in to do a job, right? And we want to make sure that you are here and doing your job, right? So like, if
Right.
you miss 1 or 2 meetings, that's okay, if you have to go on vacation, that's okay. But if you're gonna be out for an extended period of time, if you're gonna be missing several meetings in a row, we may want to consider passing a resolution to excuse you from the meeting, so that way your spot is not gonna be deemed vacant, and then you'd be subject to removal. essentially.
Right, so I guess my question is.
Yes.
The language is the first sentence says every member must be there every time. And that's not really the case. And then later on, in order to excuse the member's absence, the majority of the governing body must pass a resolution. Every time we want to excuse a single absence, we have to do a resolution. That seems a little excessive.
I don't think
The
what it
8
says, doesn't it?
consecutive.
No, I don't think we wanted to, I don't believe that was the intent, to every time you wanted to go on vacation to get an excuse.
I don't think it was either.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I think there's maybe a bit of a disconnect.
It's
between,
vague.
It's a little
well,
vague.
It
It
says
a little bit.
free
Not
in
as
order
vague as
to.
much as it's a bit
Yeah.
misleading the way it's written.
It seems
So
to
it may
be
just
written
need
that
to
any
be.
members, anytime we want to excuse a single absence, we have to do a resolution. That's the way it seems to be written.
Okay,
And the first one seems to be written that everybody has to attend every meeting. And I don't
For the
want,
agenda to pass.
for the agenda to pass. And
Which
so
that part is.
Yeah, have
I
a
don't want
question
anybody
about that,
to,
but
I don't want
that's
anybody
it.
to look at that and say, there was no
so like, because we have 1 council member here, then we
Right,
can't
right.
pass the entire resolution. So we can definitely, since this was already been adopted, we
So we can
can
do an amendment.
absolutely do an
Mhm.
amendment, yes. We can absolutely do an amendment on this, that's not a problem.
All right, so our amended language is, okay.
And we
Attorney.
can, and what we can do
No,
is.
I have a question first.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. No, I'll let you.
Well,
tell.
okay, yes. So what we can do is, if you want to do it at the next general council meeting, if that's okay?
Yes, we can make the adjustment in language. and
Oh,
see
yeah,
how-
absolutely.
So
And
let's
like
flow
any-
through this.
Any amendments that we want to do, we can get them
Right.
passed at the next meeting. We can't do it tonight,
Right.
No.
but we
Attorney.
can do it at the next council meeting,
Right.
yes.
And also in that first sentence, every member must attend every meeting and participate for the agenda to pass. The way it's like, I understand what it means is you can't do business without a quorum. I
Right.
understand that. And Harlan just explained that, but
But maybe the
the
language
way
is
it
if we need a
reads is
quorum.
we have to pass the agenda, and some councils do that. They vote to accept the mayor proposes the agenda, but that's a different form of government.
Yes,
It's a
I don't-
non-faulkner. But the way it reads is, it sounds like we have to pass the agenda.
Instead of passing
In
the
order to
resolutions
move
on the agenda or the
Doing the
ordinances,
business.
doing the business. Okay,
Yeah, just to clarify that.
Yep.
Okay.
And when you
So we're
say,
gonna do correction on that one.
when it say 8 consecutive weeks, is that 8 consecutive meetings?
No, it's 4 meetings.
I
And I
need,
think that's
I
straight
need
from the
clarity
That's
on
straight from
that.
the statute.
That's straight from the statute. So
Eight
it is
consecutive.
meant to be 8 weeks, I believe.
Yes, I believe it is 8 weeks.
So say, for example, we have standing committees that meet.
Yes.
And if you have your council meetings and then you have your standing committee meetings, is that included in that 8 consecutive meetings?
I would,
Any clarity on that?
I would need,
Yeah.
you'll get clarity on that,
Yeah,
yes.
the statute is, it's council meeting.
I believe it's council.
Right,
meetings
just
because
council
it's
meetings.
for-
Oh, so it's not
It's a
even work
Governing
sessions?
body, governing.
No,
body.
this
No,
is.
this is a
council
public
meeting.
session.
This
So,
is
yes.
one of our meetings.
This is a
Okay,
meeting,
okay.
yes,
Just
but
a
not your,
problem.
not your committee meetings, so that doesn't constitute a quorum.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, it's meetings of the government, so. the
Governing body.
Work session.
Yeah, work
Or
session.
action.
Work
yeah, I
session
know,
governing
but there's-
meetings, yeah,
Yes.
okay. I just want to be clear on that.
Nope, absolutely. Gonna write myself a little note
Anything else that we need to look at this a little bit more careful before we move on?
for attendance requirements.
Mhm.
So and just so I'm clear too, is the need for the majority governing body is for those extended more than 8 weeks in a row.
Right.
That's, so just to make that
Yes,
clear.
yes,
I just want to make sure that it's.
And I do think the second sentence probably needs to be revised too, in
Yeah.
light of Matt and Phil's comments, that if the agenda cannot pass,
Yeah.
the borough cannot.
Yeah, so it has to
That's a
be-
different form of government, it's not ours.
Yes.
That's not
the
really
pres-
applicable
yeah.
here.
Correct.
So-
I'm gonna. I'll take that one out, because that's not our form of government.
Yes, absolutely.
I can keep it.
Record keeping. Okay, after, see, I don't think there's any changes to that. Hold on, just trying to go through. Oh, that one isn't it. Okay, record keeping. After call to order, the mayor will request the clerk to call the roll and note the absences. If the meeting has started and a council member has walked in, we're just going to note the time that the council member has walked in. And the clerk is going to keep a record of attendance. Again, this goes back to your attendance requirements to make sure that you're not going to be missing several meetings and, more than 8 consecutive weeks, essentially. In the event of absence of the clerk and deputy clerk, the presiding officer shall appoint a clerk pro temp. Oh, interesting, okay.
So for example, Maureen
So
would fill in.
Maureen would-
Maureen.
correct. So, or if Jennifer is out and Maureen is out, then
I've done.
I'll be Terry.
One
Would be
time.
Terry.
That was Terry.
We kind of winged
She
it.
did, yeah. She was wearing many hats that
It was
night.
not fun, because I was like, Zoom, this, that, yeah.
And I was right next to you, so I could feel the tension.
But
And the
it can be
test.
done, but now we know the official procedure for that.
Yes, and so,
Because it was silent. on
again,
that,
once-
so just clean the language up.
and one sentence above that, it says the clerk will also keep a record attendance of, herself, the attorney who shows up, and also the borough administrator to make sure that they're also in attendance at these meetings. The clerk shall perform their duties according to their statute in New Jersey. As we know, Jennifer is
Mhm.
already a registered clerk. She knows her job. She's gonna publish and keep the minutes of all meetings, and then you guys will approve of any of those. You guys will approve of those minutes after your next meeting. Regular meeting order of business. I think this is, let's see, okay, so here, you call to order, salute, flag salute, roll call, approval of minutes, reports, then we go into, there are really 3 chances for public participation, depending if there is a second reading for an ordinance. The first public participation is only strictly those that are listed on the agenda. Then then you'll have your ordinance reading, then you'll have a separate public portion if there is a second reading ordinance. If an ordinance is on for a second reading, they get a separate public participation. And after the resolutions are passed, then there is a separate public participation, second or third public participation, in which one the public can come up and speak for 3 minutes, or I think 3 minutes per speaker, and I think it's supposed to be no longer than 21 minutes total.
That's
That is-
the first.
That's
Yeah.
that's the first one. Okay,
The first one.
so the second one is 3 minutes per speaker.
Phil?
Yes,
Yeah,
Councilman.
I think the section needs a little clarification. We all understand the sense of it and how it works, but it actually, it kind of,
What number are you looking at, Phil?
I'm looking at section 5 in Article 3 on
Okay,
the public participation. I
I
don't
mean,
want
section
to
one.
change
Section-
it.
So
section
Article
one,
5,
section one.
Section
section
4
five.
article.
Section 4.
Yeah,
Article 4, Section 1.
Yes.
Section 5. Section 5.
Article 4,
He jumped
section
ahead.
5.
she did, you did.
Oh,
jump ahead.
oh,
you
yeah,
jumped
'cause I'm
ahead.
like, wait, we're on
Left
someplace
me in the
else.
dust.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, that's why I asked, where are you? I'm like, what? We're not there yet. We'll catch up to you.
I have a question on the quorum though.
What section are you though?
You still.
Are we
Because
still
we-
on one quorum?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're on section
we're-
5,
Yes.
section 1. We're just going through
Order of
section
Yes, we
1.
just did the regular meeting order of
Yeah.
business,
Wait,
Article
Article
4,
4,
Section
Section 1.
section 1. And
Okay, so
My
we're,
question was on Article 4, Section 5.
oh, you jumped way ahead of us.
Well, we were talking about the public participation.
we did, yeah, because that was in the regular order meeting of business. That's where I talked
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah. All right.
I understand the sense of it, and it really doesn't change anything, but the way it's presented, I think it needs to be spelled out a little more carefully that there were two public discussions. The first one limited to the agenda, and the second one for any topic and the speaker. And then, because the public participation in an ordinance is by statute,
Yes,
and we might have 6 second readings.
yes, so
And that would make,
That would
6
make 6 public
ordinances plus,
sessions.
plus 2
Right.
public sessions.
right,
So I think the ordinance discussion should be broken out just to make it clear. Because a member of the public reading this might say, well, do you have 3 sections? Do you have 3, if I want to talk about an ordinance? Or can I talk about, the school board when but we're talking about the ordinance for a school board? I just think it would get confusing. I think just needs to be clarified a little bit.
Okay, so flush it out some more.
Yeah, just a slight change.
Yeah, the first sentence, the public shall have two times for, at every meeting, there'll be 2 times for public comment
yes.
with additional public comment for
For-
statutorily
Required.
required ordinance.
As per-
Yeah,
yeah,
that
Yeah, that's
clarifies
fine.
it.
That's fine. We can definitely
Just
do
the
that.
way it read, you could read it as there's 3 public sessions.
There's only 3 public
so-
sessions, but
yeah,
there
so-
could be, you're right, there could be multiple.
And the other one that
ordinances.
I've debated for many, many, many years. And I don't know how anybody else feels about it, because sometimes I feel like saying 5 minutes is more than enough. 21 minutes, it's just an odd number.
Because it divides.
Because
these
I
into
three.
It
Three
divides
minutes.
usually by
I
3, But so does 30, it's just an idea. So does 27.
I believe.
So there's 3.
So I
There you go.
believe that your public portion with the each member of the public shall have 3 minutes each to speak. Each
With a limit
3
of
minutes
21
each
minutes.
with a total of 21 minutes in total to speak. I believe that is out of your ordinance. So
Yeah, I know, it was
that's,
put in many, many years ago.
yeah,
I'm
so
just
that. maybe,
Wondering how people
know.
feel about 21 minutes. We all feel differently about it at different times.
So the
But
fact that
there have been times when we've made a motion to extend for
Right, but we have that.
something of
we have
importance.
that emergency valve if it ever rises,
Yeah.
but it's pretty rare that I feel that it does. I feel like we're usually well under 21 minutes.
Yeah.
And then if we approach it, then we certainly can always relax it,
The
which I think
second
we've always
public
done.
session is open until we run out of time. So
Yeah.
we can-
Right.
Correct.
Right.
We have it until 9 o'clock.
That's-
And then
it's just
in the,
like-
if
it's always
we,
been a thought.
there has been times when we vote on extension. So if
Yeah.
that should arise, then we can
Right.
always vote to extend if we need it.
So your public meetings are statutorily, you put it in your public notice that it goes from 7 to 9?
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
And then if we need an extension, then we extend.
You send it as,
Yeah, that's.
Long ago are the days when we're here till 1 o'clock in the morning.
sometimes you have a lot of items to discuss, and that happens, absolutely. Okay. All right, so,
Anything else in this section?
anything else in section 5?
No.
Okay, section 6. Council members are expected to refrain from using personal cell phones during the meetings because it can look, it gives off a bad impression and can look like a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act.
Mhm.
If you are all on your phones, you could just be texting, your spouse at home saying, hey, did the dog go out yet? But some members of the public can view that as two council people having a conversation with each other about items on the agenda. So it just doesn't look good. So we encourage, put your cell phones away during the meeting. Don't be on your phone. And also anything that, be advised that if you are conducting borough business on your cell phone, that is subject to Oprah. So just be knowledge of that, be aware of that.
So the council members are to step away from the dais?
If you need to make a personal phone call or
Yeah,
make,
or whatever,
yes, I would
yeah,
say, step out, absolutely.
Because of appearance.
Because
It would
appearance,
give
it
the
doesn't
wrong
look-
appearance.
Correct.
So it makes sense that you step away.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And you saw, so you use of our cell phone, our personal cell phone it can be operable, right?
Absolutely. Use your cell phone if you're conducting business on your personal cell phone, it is subject to Oprah.
And how long would they take your phone away for that?
As long as I need to get anything off of it.
Wow.
So-
Like a forensic mirror copy of your phone, and they have everything. Everything
Okay.
that you have on it since you bought it.
Oh, my God. That's a lot. Oh, wow. So wait, it's just like messages, but it would like touch your WhatsApp or your Instagram, or it's just everything on your phone?
Well-
Mhm, everything,
Yes,
all your contacts, all your photographs, all your emails, by the way. If you get your emails on your phone,
yes.
they're in your phone. It's like copying your computer.
Correct. So but anything that is personal on your phone,
Mhm.
like pictures of your family or pictures of your puppy, that's not subject to Oprah. You
But
know,
they would already looked at it.
exactly, that's true. I would show everybody a picture of my, my new puppy if I had one.
The other attorney or judge would have access to the
Well,
entirety. And
Of
then
the
only
entirety of your phone.
Yes.
personal stuff would be shared with.
yeah, so just,
The client.
yes, so be wary on any, text messages. If you're conducting borough business on your personal phone, it is subject to Oprah, plain and simple. Someone can
Yep.
make an Oprah request for your text messages, someone can make an Oprah request for any emails that you have on your phone
Mhm.
if it's involving borough business. So.
And our borough phones, it's
Borough
we
phones
already
are
is
borough
already
phones,
backed up.
exactly. So
Yeah, it's borough property.
it's borough property,
So
so
it's, so
So if you have a-
it's definitely subjected because
Exactly,
it
absolutely.
belongs to the borough.
absolutely, absolutely.
So
Anything-
conduct borough business on.
On borough,
Conduct
on
business
borough
on your
equipment,
borough phone.
on
Exactly.
borough equipment.
Keep your lives separate, be a
Or call
lot
me to the
easier.
payphone in the lobby.
They don't pay for no more.
It's just a show.
No, it's
just for
It's just vintage now.
It's a showpiece. It was like
Show
back in the
kids and
day.
Remember the olden days.
Yeah.
And then kids look at it and go, what is that?
Yeah.
With the
And,
cell phone at the train station vibe.
all right, and last one, section 7. Please ensure that you are on time for your meetings. All your meetings always start at 7 o'clock. Please make sure you are here at a little bit before 7, by 7, because again, if the meeting starts later, if the meeting doesn't start till like 7:30, 7:40, that could be, again, appearances, it doesn't look good. it could be a violation, it could be a potential violation of the Open Public Meetings Act because we made notice to the public that it's starting at 7, and then we're not starting it till 7:45 or 7:30, so just be on time, but everyone was tonight, so I think we're good.
Just follow, keep it through.
Yep, exactly. All right. Work sessions.
The order in section 1 is not the order that we.
Yeah. I just saw that
I was
myself.
just about to bring that up,
Yeah.
yeah.
What,
The different
what was
order.
that?
We
sorry?
usually do, the public comment on this agenda is after the discussion. So we-
oh, okay, so then we will
I mean, I'm-
amend those and flip them around.
Yeah.
Any items that, any resolutions or ordinances that have to be prepared, again, this is probably more for, administration side. We have to make sure that they get to Jennifer the Monday, the week before your work session meeting, so that Jennifer has enough time to assemble your packets, send them out, and review if necessary. See. Number 3, except for routine or emergent matters, no discussion items may be listed on the agenda unless it's been brought through your standing committee for recommendation for your, to the full council.
We just had a discussion on that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Should a council member have a question about whether a matter is routine or not, they should consult your standing committee or the administration for that purpose. Again, because once the agenda is set, we really shouldn't be adding things to the agenda until if the agenda's already been published and put out there.
what are some of the exceptions?
Emergent matters,
Mhm.
that's pretty much like
Extreme,
extreme
yes.
circumstances. I could think of a couple of items. God forbid if you have a fire breaks out in one of your buildings and you need to immediately pass contract with the demolition company to take that building down for like anything that is for public health, safety and welfare. Like,
That's what I wanted.
that's what I was, sorry, I couldn't think of
clarify,
it. Health, safety and welfare, health, safety and welfare. Or to add like a regular contract, we can't add those because that's not considered emergent. So anything dealing with the public health, safety and welfare, we can add, or possibly if there is a gap between the work session and the regular meeting, we would call an emergency meeting to get that done.
So say if we, God forbid, if we get 30 inches of snow and we run out of funding for
Run out
snow,
of
and
snow.
we need to make emergency appropriation for funds.
Merge for any, but it has to be like a real like emergency. 30 inches of snow, maybe, again, typical lawyer answer, it depends. That's all I can put.
Okay. All righty.
Okay.
Anybody with any other questions
other
in this
questions?
session? Because we get these requests from members of the public that they may have, or one of our boards/commissions, that they have an emergency thing that never went through, and now it's like the emergency and they need it 2 days before the meeting, or they need the meeting off. So those are not.
Those are not
those-
emergency
It cannot,
items.
yeah.
No, if
It
you,
doesn't, that's a 3-section, you call it, the 3 emergency.
public health,
Public
safety and
safety.
welfare, yes, public health, safety and welfare, yeah. Let's see. Mayor, this is just,
Mhm.
again, this just is also out of
Mhm.
the Faulkner Act. The mayor presides over the borough council meetings. And, you shall, preserve order and decorum during the meetings. If people get out of hand, you can interrupt and kind of bring back everybody to
Order.
Yeah, to order. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Can I
Yes,
ask a question about
of course.
section 5?
Jumping?
we're done?
No, of the same section of the mayor's
mayor,
section.
yeah.
Oh,
Mayor, it's,
Wait. I like the part where it says the mayor shall say who can speak. And you just jumped over that part. He just like, okay, we don't even talk about that. Let's just jump over that.
That's true. So if you do have like a point of order, again, following,
Mayor recognizes who
following
can
like
speak. He's
Robert
like, oh, let's
rules,
forget
you
that
have a
part.
point of order, address the mayor and then the mayor will call on you.
Sorry, go ahead.
can I?
Go ahead.
I didn't speak it. Section 5, the mayor shall not make promises or commitments which bind the council and the council can't bind. What is it? How do you make a binding commitment without a vote on something? Like, what is, like, you got an example of how I could bind, how any of us could bind the mayor or like,
I think this is like a strong mayor, weak council, kind of like.
Oh, I just thought this was another instance of maybe this just not being written very clearly. It kind of suggests that you can do it, but I think what they're saying is you shouldn't make those kinds of promises or commitments as if you could bind,
Right.
because you can't. It's not
You
legally
can't.
binding.
I guarantee you that they're absolutely gonna pass XYZ resolution by 6-0. I guarantee it, and you'll get your contract.
You're gonna get your contract, or you can,
That's-
or you're gonna, I'll make sure that not a great example, but it's the only one I think could pop in my head, I apologize, but yes, absolutely, the administration can hire you and appoint you, and hire you as a new police officer for Highland Park.
That's a promise
Which
you
is,
can't make.
exactly, so,
Because she doesn't vote,
okay.
it's us. That
The
we
police
pass
department.
it.
wasn't it?
Report to
Okay,
me.
sorry. Sorry.
Like Councilmember Hill can say, absolutely, my cousin, brother, friend is gonna get this job without da. Now I'm gonna talk to the mayor and it's gonna be okay.
I'm gonna talk to the mayor,
Yeah.
exactly,
And the mayor comes and say, oh, yeah, sure, don't worry about it.
right.
That kind of thing.
I think you're right, that
I
you can't, the way it's written suggests.
So we
like
need to
it's
tweak the
possible.
language
Yeah, I
on
think we
this.
need to tweak the language to
Okay,
make it clear that it's not
I
possible that
would
you
delete
can,
it.
but you shouldn't.
I would delete it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just,
Yeah. I
It,
think
it,
with
it
the-
goes out beyond the realm of rules of order
Rules of
into
order
an
or
ethical
any-
code. I think you drop it.
But I think in some towns, this is seriously needed. Not like ours, but
Yeah,
there
many-
are towns that
many
we are
of our
seeing
clients-
that
many of our
are in this
clients
tickle
do.
because of they didn't follow this rule.
That's neither here nor
But I
there.
think
I
this
think
is,
it's an ethic, it's part of an ethics code. It's not, these are
Yeah.
rules of order, how you run your meetings, how you pass your laws, how you determine finances and what everybody's role is in doing that. This is an ethical thing, and we have an ethics board. So I think that I would delete it.
I think it should stay there and some parameters around it, because say
Well,
this council goes away and someone else comes in, then somebody say it's silent on that. And I can do whatever I want.
And what it should do then is delete directly and say, shall not make promises or commitments to anyone which by inference would
Be binding.
influence the borough council's vote. Because you can't bind the council to it, but you can commit to their vote. That's what, essentially what you're doing is you're committing to their vote. So relanguage it, take out directly, because directly is irrelevant. And by inference or implication, guarantee the borough council's vote or something like that is more appropriate.
I like that. Councilmember Hill?
yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is we could say the borough council and the mayor make decisions in formal vote sessions, not in promises or commitments made outside of formal meetings or something. I don't, is that flipping it to sort of say,
Yeah, I don't know, I might stay
Maybe yours
away
is
from it
fine.
a little bit, but I see where you're going with it. Like, we pass resolutions authorizing the mayor and the borough clerk to sign contracts. Or the borough administrator to, hire subordinate employees subject to confirmation by the mayor or the council. So, but I see where you're going with that.
I was just wondering if there was a way of saying like all business of the borough and all business of the council is done in formal business sessions.
Yes,
implicate or.
Which is Open Public Meetings Act
Right,
anyway.
right. It
But
goes
then,
right
but
back
then
to
say
that.
something like, so, or.
In accordance with the
in
Open
accordance-
Public Meeting Act.
is
So
it-
it's inappropriate.
It's
to do
inappropriate.
these kinds of
Right.
It's
things.
inappropriate
Right.
for the
Right.
mayor or the council to make promises or inferences that bind the council outside of formal meetings.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's actually statutory. That's what I'm saying. I don't
Yeah.
think.
Well, there's
Yeah,
other stuff in here
it's-
that's
Yeah,
statutory,
it's the,
so-
Right, but
it's
it's
the Municipal,
I
municipal
think we were just flushing it out.
officers.
Yeah, it's okay to. Okay.
That's in Title 40. I think it's 48(9)(150).
Why was
Then
this
there's four
here? Like, what
categories.
is the, what's the meaning behind it? Like, why, you know?
I'm sure it was put in because someone
I-
did it.
I mean,
Look around the state of New Jersey.
This was this added?
this was, no, this
not?
was,
This has always been here.
this has always been
That
here,
was-
and I don't know,
We don't know how long.
I don't know how long it's been in here
So
for.
that's not one of the new changes.
No, nothing was changed on. This is just one of those things that sits here
I think
because
the
of
only thing
the
that was
many, many
added
years
was to
of
flip it and say
Flip
the
it,
mayor
right.
can't and
Yeah,
neither can
mayor
the
can't
council.
promises and
mayor,
council
mayor and
But
council
the-
cannot.
can't
That line
make
was there
promises to
already.
each other, essentially.
So,
So I
So
don't
just-
know why the original mayor shall not make promises or commitments.
Probably
But-
predated the local public ethics law.
That could be very possible.
That's
Back
why-
in the olden
that's why-
days.
that's why- That's why I would delete it, but that's what is my opinion.
Mayor slash council cannot. Done.
I would keep it, it doesn't hurt to have these kind of like good,
practices in
there
place,
as
yes.
a reminder, but
Mhm.
it definitely needs to be reworded, so it doesn't suggest that it's even possible that you can bind the borough council
Right.
through a
Through.
false promise. or
Mhm.
commitment,
Right.
Because
That's true. I would tweak the language.
We can definitely tweak the language, absolutely. All right, let's see. Yeah. Oh, mayor shall provide approval of regular work session and a special meeting agendas. The mayor shall consult with council president, borough administrator, and borough clerk on a bi-weekly basis concerning agendas. And will ensure that all non-routine items have been duly considered by each standing committee before allowing them to be placed on the agendas.
I spoke a little bit about that earlier.
Yeah, we did. So again, anything that is non-routine needs to go through your special committees, needs to go through your standing committees before they get placed on the agenda. Matter can be added to any regular meeting if 5 or more members of the council make the request through council president to have a mayor add it. And items.
Like 5 out of 6.
That's
I
fine.
thought it used to be 4 out of 6.
We can leave it. Fine.
I think it's fine.
That's a pretty high bar.
Yeah,
I think it's fine.
Yeah,
Maybe
we can
that's
leave it.
better.
Mhm.
I think that's why.
Maybe
That's why it went to
Because it's
5.
right, because again, you want it, I think you want it to be like a higher bar
higher
anyway,
bar,
that
right.
way we just can't
Yeah.
start adding things to the agenda, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Any items added to any items that are added to the agenda shall not be presented for a vote by the council until the full council reviews the agenda item at the next work session meeting. Okay, let's see. Borough Council President. At your reorg meetings, you vote for a new council president every, at your next annual meeting. Let's see. Acting mayor.
So we left for 1 year and.
End of the
So, and
paragraph.
that's the question that we want to go back
That's what
to.
I think. he had.
Harlan, you may not be, you're not familiar.
No.
The council members were saying that they wanted was to extend it from a 1 year to a 2 year council president serving, because 1 year, you're just really getting everything together at the end of the year. So to really delve in, we were suggesting that it would be a 2 year. I'm not sure if everyone was on board with that. So to make it a 2 year, the council president serves as 2 years or something like that?
something like that.
But
I
the-
would advocate that you can't have it be for a 2-year term when you have a new council constituted every year, so there could be a change and a change of opinion. And they could always change the rules anyway. But I think what a number of us were discussing was a 2-year limit. I mean, personally, I would be okay with a longer limit, like 3 years or so. I'm open-minded on that, but I think that's more along the line, so that like you couldn't serve for too long as council president. So I think we talked, like, we definitely had this conversation that there'd be more rotation so that everybody gets that kind of experience.
I think that was, I thought that was the intent as well, is that, I'm sorry, can I talk?
See, he has a problem with that rule.
Yeah, take that out.
Wait, Councilmember Hill, excuse me, Council President, Councilmember Hill has the floor. Councilmember-
The rest of us, whatever.
I think the intent was to just have turnover and to have, and I could go for 3, but I think that the intent that we were all talking about was that we ought to rotate council presidents after 2 or 3 years, that we shouldn't have a council president who's there for 100 years.
So true.
One for 2 or 3 years. That was our intent, so.
I had a question about that too. I thought that the thought was that to limit it, but I also agree with Jason that the council reconstitutes itself at reorg. And I think you have to elect a council president
At every reorg.
Yeah.
So that the 2 year, so it's actually a term limit as opposed to an appointed term. Because you might have somebody whose term actually ends, and so theoretically on December 31st, they have
Everybody
to be
gets reset.
certified and then sworn in again, because they're not a council person.
Right.
So, I would be, leave it that they appoint it every year. But if you want to do the term limit, I'm fine with the term, whatever it is, 2 or 3.
We'll have to also take a look at your ordinance to make sure that
Yeah, we may have to find.
you may have to amend your ordinance. in
Our
order to
ordinance
find-
is in line with this. Our ordinance is in line with the
Is this?
1 year.
Okay.
Yes, it is
Okay.
in line.
So we may have to.
So if, I think this is where you all should have a discussion, because I don't get to vote, so you all should have that
Yeah.
discussion.
I think there's the one value of 2 over 3 years, and again, I'm just playing this out, right? The one value of 2 over 3 is that 3 is the entire length of a council term, right? And 2 would stagger it potentially a little bit, so that
Yeah.
after, if you do a 2-year term, then you would still have a 3rd year, or you could have a 3rd year as just a council person. That, it's a small point, but maybe that helps the transition processes or something like that. Because what if you had someone who got elected and did a 3-year term and then disappeared, and there's no institutional memory or transition into 2-year term, you're always going to have overlap. And with an overlap, that means that the current council president knows that they're going to be not council president after 2 years. And presumably anybody who's interested can go to the council president and say, tell me about your job. What do you do? Or can I, or something like that.
I think we should also put like, if you have the 2 years that person couldn't run again,
Yeah, well,
right?
Well, that's a term limit. Yeah.
Oh,
If
the
you're gonna
term
put it
limit,
as a term
yeah.
limit, yeah.
Well, they would have to step away for like, if I did 2 years and then like I couldn't go again for another, I would need
For
to
another
step
season.
away. Someone in the middle, then maybe you can go again, but
So you take some time off, but say for example, what if nobody was interested, then you would find
Yeah, I'm
yourself.
thinking of a certain
Right.
council
Yeah.
person that did this.
Yes, and it was like,
Because
exactly,
nobody else wanted it.
nobody else wanted it, and there's times when it's like, it's so much work.
Up to somebody else.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
step up, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I could see having an exception though, because if the person wants to stay on and no one else wants to. do it,
Correct.
Or they're ineligible. But the default could be that it just sort of turns over, that you can have it so that you would be ineligible for the next, whatever the math would be, 6, 8 years until it'd be your turn again. Unless, again, no one else wants to do it and you are willing to do it.
I think I would just stick with the term limit as a term limit and stay away from all the rest of the parameters. Because I think that dynamic generates itself. I don't know that we have to say it's absolute or mandatory. other than saying the council president serves for 2 years.
So,
Huh?
so what would that do?
You know,
And then
say,
you can
well,
either
they-
take
then
a
they can't
6-year
run
break
again
or come
until
back in a
somebody
year.
else-
You don't know.
They
what-
can't run again until somebody else runs, or they
Yeah,
can't run
yeah.
for 2 consecutive
You can't
2-year
run-
terms. I don't
Oh,
think we
yeah.
need that much rigor to it, and just say
2
the
years.
person elected to council president shall serve for 2 years, period.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, well, that's what we have agreed. It was-
Right. That's what you're talking
Like
about.
informally.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I think it's time to
Yeah.
formalize it.
They're elected every year, but they have a 2-year term.
Right,
And that way everybody plans.
Right.
right.
Yeah, and then they will be, it's maybe a technicality, but in their second year at reorg, they have to be nominated again.
Mhm,
I think
mhm.
that's statutory. I think that's.
Yeah, I think so.
mandatory.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
They
yes.
have,
It has
because
to, it has to go
we
through,
reorganize it
Mhm.
every year.
right?
So what if the person steps down or they lose their election?
Do they fill the unexpired
Do you
term?
appoint?
Somebody else amongst the council, somebody
council.
Oh,
else
so
can.
that's
council.
why.
The council, right,
we-
yeah.
okay.
And the question would be, is it for the remainder of their 2-year term, or is it start another?
Oh,
2 years?
term, yeah.
is
Yeah,
that-
or it could be
that a
for the
2-year
remainder, or it
term?
starts another
they-
one next time.
You get 2 years if it's the middle of the second year of the term, do they get to finish that half year and then get a fresh
But-
2 years? Otherwise, then you're gonna have it always be in the middle.
Yeah.
So,
Because I think most of us have filled an unexpired term at one point in our career.
Yeah, because when
Yeah.
when
And then had to
Susie
run again.
passed, then,
That's
we
right.
had that in the middle. And it was in the middle of her term that she
Yeah.
passed.
Usually
well,
the, I'm sorry, like any, or if there is a vacant, if,
The
just talking about like
vacancy.
regular vacancy,
Right.
that person fills the vacancy and then they get
Right.
reappointed. So I think
Correct.
just to try to be consistent, so you're not, reappointing members in
Mhm,
August.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah,
I
yes.
think it should be consistent.
Just fill in,
Yes,
just fill in the
yeah.
vacancy and then,
Yeah, and
then
then.
you can still get 2
Okay.
years.
You still, and then at your next reorg, you can
then
get
you
another
can vote
2
that
years.
person or.
Exactly.
Where it's like if you're filling a vacancy, that doesn't count towards the 2 years.
Correct.
Something
Correct,
like
Correct,
that.
yes.
Yeah, that's.
your
it.
That's fair.
internship is.
Yes.
You're doing an internship.
Well, you're probably helping get some of the jam, like.
Yeah.
got a vacancy.
Okay.
Okay, acting, any more questions before I move on
So
from?
what are we doing with that? Is that being changed or no?
Yes,
Two-year
okay,
term limit.
yes, we're gonna
Yeah,
change it
2-year
to.
Oh,
term limit.
so, okay.
Fill the unexpired term.
Yes.
And that's it.
Let's call everyone wants 3.
No.
Oh,
Nah, stay with
You
2.
had enough.
Yeah. All righty.
All right, acting mayor. If the mayor is absent from the borough for more than 3 days, you shall notify the council president in writing of the intended absence, and then the council president then becomes acting mayor until the mayor's return. If council president is unable to act, say if she's also away at the same time, then whoever is the longest standing member is acting mayor.
Oh, that's why it was Phil that
Yeah,
one
yeah, that's why it
time?
was
Phil.
I thought Phil just volunteered.
No, no. It's the longest serving person.
Borough survey.
Council, again, I don't want to go through like every single one of these. I don't think
There's
it's,
nothing new.
I don't think that any of these
No,
are
if
really
it's not new.
Yeah, if it's not new, I'm just trying to like,
If you could go to section 6 and just let's dig into Oprah a little bit. and just
Yeah.
See where we are with that.
Really?
I think that's the newest thing because Oprah is always changing.
that's true. Oh, sorry, council.
Crazy.
Yeah. Okay, council members' comments are construed as the voice of governing body on public issues. Council members, when speaking or if you're using social media, again, if you're using your social media as part of your title, you are subject to the Open Public Records Act. So again, things that if you have your own
Facebook page?
Facebook page, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm struggling today. If you have your own if you have your own personal your own council Facebook page that can be subject to Oprah.
Wait. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I'm learning. Your own council face, what if you have your own Facebook page that you had prior to council?
I know, it's,
It's hard.
I don't,
If you have a person, I'm sorry to jump in, but I just wrote a policy for 2 towns exactly on point, which is now required. And if you had your own Facebook
Laura, I
page
mean-
through the college. or
Well, one
something,
second. And then I'm gonna go to Councilmember George.
no, that's fine. And if you disagree, if
ahead,
you
go
have
ahead.
something else, please,
Right,
you know,
yeah,
go ahead.
I'm
We're attorney, go ahead.
more than welcome to have a conversation about this as well. If you are, if you are conducting business through Facebook, if you are using it as part of as like you're wearing your hat as a councilman, then I would say, yes, it is subject to Oprah. But whatever happened on your Facebook page prior to you becoming a council member, that's not subject to Oprah. I would not put that as subject to Oprah.
Go ahead.
Right?
His eyes went.
Yes.
I get another curveball for you. If I had a Facebook page before I was a council member.
Yes.
When I first came on council, all I did is post on Facebook.
Okay.
And then I hit myself in the head with a hammer and decided that was a really stupid thing to do and don't post the thing anymore. Is there a statute of limitations where I get my Facebook page? Now that I used it once a year, like when I first started, literally I did a lot of posting,
Right.
right? I tried to communicate on Facebook and then it doesn't work. And
Right.
so I don't do it anymore.
Correct.
Can I take my own Facebook page back and it's not operable anymore? Or is it because I did it once, it's always operable?
You did it once, it's always Oprah.
What if I trash the Facebook page and start a new one?
That now you're running into state records retention rules.
Mhm. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
So I apologize. I don't know the state records retention schedule off the top of my head. I know there have been I believe there have been changes recently that talk about social media
Mhm.
on this. But I can definitely look into that for you on when your pages can be deleted and any communications from those pages are allowed to be deleted. So, and how they can be deleted as well. Because there's also rules on how you delete things.
You have to ask.
You have to ask permission. You just can't go, 3 years are up, delete.
If it's a public record, you have
It's a
to.
public record, you need
have to
permission.
apply to the
You have to
treasurer.
apply for this, through DARM or state record. They
Yep.
aren't DARM anymore, but.
So,
state
so
record.
say for example, I went on my personal Facebook page and I said,
What were you saying?
and I said something about, say, I just said something like really off the wall, but it's on my Facebook page, but it's about the council, or it's about the borough. That's operable?
It can be operable. Again, like I don't really, we can dive in really
Okay, so
deep.
say
into, like,
I
all
went on
these,
a
like-
rant, say I went on just, and I was like, I hate this, da, 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 and I just kept on going about stuff that happened in a meeting, and I keep going on, and
And I would-
just talking about an ordinance that was passed and going into what was said, and, wanted to
Your diary.
reroute it.
Diary,
I'm diarying the
like
whole
how-
thing all over again, and people start making comments, and I'm responding to the comments.
Mhm.
That's operable.
I would say yes, that is operable. Now, when I'm also want to be very clear about this. When I'm saying it is operable, that doesn't mean it's definitely going to be releasable. Okay, there are several exceptions under Oprah. That again, but if it's on a public Facebook page, that may be separate. But what I'm saying is it is subject to Oprah, but it may fall under one of the 26 some odd exemptions, maybe 28 now.
And then you go over to personnel records. I mean,
Exactly. So
there's more.
there's so many different exemptions
Yeah.
under Oprah as well that although it is subject to Oprah, it may not be releasable. So we're talking about 2 different avenues on this.
So in other words, don't have a Facebook page until you leave council.
Just be careful. It's hard. The
It's
lines get
challenging.
blurred very, very easily. So again, just be careful, you know,
Puppy posts only.
puppy posts
Yeah,
only.
puppy post. Councilmember George, you had something to add?
Yeah, part of what Matt was saying is, and there's a lot of people who maintain more than one social media
Yes.
page.
Yes.
And in a lot of areas, especially larger towns and the cities, the council members and the mayor and all the directors actually maintain their own social media page to keep people informed, and all of that is subject to disclosure under OPRA. What council's talking about is, I can ask for anything.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean I'm gonna
Gonna
get
get
it,
it,
but I have the
correct.
right to ask for it. But what Matt, when you have a Facebook page, and a lot of us did it, I don't have one for any social media for exactly these reasons. I keep absolutely none.
Mhm.
Because that's all I need is someone going to the law firm and saying, well, so, but like a lot of people started, when they start a campaign or they're starting to push a social issue,
Mhm.
they start putting it out on their social feeds. That becomes, now you've made your social feed disclosable because you're talking about borough business.
Mhm.
Is borough business campaign business? Like if you're running for
No.
reelection, is it, do
No.
you separate that? And if you have a campaign Facebook page,
If
that
you're
talks
running
about
your
the election.
if you're running your campaign on, I want us to pass an ordinance that bans fluffy dogs. I think they have
No,
to
we
be
definitely
banned.
I'm in favor of fluffy dogs.
No,
You just lost a few votes there.
A lot more fluffy
It's
dogs than
not-
me.
it's not,
We're gonna be the
you're
fluffy
putting
dog
out-
town.
You're putting out campaign information, but if you say, and I'm running for reelection, and I introduced an ordinance to ban fluffy dogs, now you've crossed over that line. So it really depends. Depends on how to
Yeah.
approach it, and that's why a lot of big cities have IT managers that actually manage.
Yes,
this.
absolutely. And you said the phrase probably like a dozen times just now. It depends. It depends. It depends. It depends. So again, the public can ask for anything. Doesn't mean it's going to be disclosable. But again, going back to, page 2 of this document, if you are conducting borough business, it is subject to Oprah. And that is on your phone, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. I don't know any others.
TikTok.
TikTok.
And what's the default when a judge makes a decision? What's the default? What's the default answer? It's disclosable.
Oh, it's disclosable. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
They're always going to err in
They're always gonna-
favor of disclosure.
Yes.
Question, I was just reading, I'm supposed to be running the goals and think session, I thought you was doing that.
No, Council President.
I see that here, right? It
Yeah, you
says
do it.
under duties and responsibilities, but it says in coordination with the
Oh.
mayor and borough administrator.
Right.
That's why we had that meeting the other day.
Yeah, but
I prepared you for it.
Yeah, I know, but it is.
And gonna be like, I'm not gonna be here. No, we'll help you. We'll work together. We're not, we'll help.
Sure.
She's
All
like,
right.
wait a second, are you
I agree.
serious?
What?
It was a work session, so I'm not.
What is that?
B, page 8B,
Section 3 of the
right.
council president.
The duties and responsibilities.
Duty.
Yeah, duty.
Goals,
Council President will conduct all of, yeah.
the last line.
Where, I'm sorry.
On 3.8, the page B, governance.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Our borough
this is the
council
old
will
one?
yeah, yeah.
This is the new
No,
one.
this is the new one.
So look at the old one. This is the change.
Oh, wait, was that a change?
I don't know.
No.
I think it was there.
No, I have it on mine.
I didn't bring the old one, so I don't.
Oh, no. It's not a
Section
change.
No,
Section
no, it's not.
It's always been,
Yep, it's there.
Oh, it's always.
Yeah.
always been.
It's there. See, standing, council standing committees. Again, I don't think any changes.
No.
Nothing with that. Nominations, ordinances, resolutions.
Oh, I'm sorry, can I go back to Oprah real fast? 'Cause-
Okay.
And like, town groups and different things. So what is the proper way to respond? right? If you're tagged on something, resident A, I done tripped on this one side here, it's ice here, and they tag all the council members
Oh, you're
here.
talking about like it's on the borough page?
No, there is,
I'm from Highland Park Group.
like it's a group.
Oh, private group.
Yeah, a town.
I
group.
understand.
Or borough page, either.
So
What do we?
I would like to answer the
Yeah,
question.
I would love to answer, but
You
I'm,
want us
I would love to answer, but I'm gonna let Terry answer. Go ahead, Terry. Terry's like, me.
I'm gonna use your exact example.
Yes.
You see that on there, please email me, and let's use that example. Either Mike W. from Public Works, and in this case, it would be Matt Hirsch, who's the head of Public Works.
Mhm.
Just say you saw this, or you just, in case you missed it, go check it out, because I'm from Highland Park isn't an official,
Right,
conduit,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
might not see it in busy plowing roads. So what I would ask, because I care about that stuff, it's, safety, it's all that stuff. But if you see something, don't tag Hirsch and me on Facebook, because I don't go on Facebook on my own time. So send an email, text to me, alerting me to the fact that you saw that, don't know if it's true or not, but just in case you're
Right.
concerned. So I know that's an overly simplistic example, because I know that's often more in depth, but it's, the best way to handle it is if you're concerned about it, is to just get it to me so we can route it to the department that has to,
Right.
if it's a complaint, if it's a safety hazard thing of that nature.
And then we have those forms also on the
The report of
website. You have
concern on our
a
website.
report of concern form. Each council member have their email address. The administration has an email, so people can just voice a concern, send it in there. Because I am not in any of those groups. And so if you're saying whatever, you're just saying whatever. Because if you want to communicate with me, all my information is on public, so you can just reach out. Councilman.
So follow-up question on that. We used to have the recycle app. Is that still around?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a
Oh,
big
yeah,
fan.
that's
I-
great.
That's for
I love it.
you reporting potholes or
It can report
accidents and
in,
stuff like
and
that.
it can also, it obviously reports out
Yeah.
to residents. But the portal on our website, Report of Concern, I see every one of those that come through.
Yes.
And I
Good.
do,
So
and
I
I
get
think
them
it's
too.
important. I trust the departments are getting it
Mhm.
done, but if I'm concerned or if it's a liability issue, I tag it and I follow up.
Yeah.
So I would encourage you to drive people there, because it's an easier way for me to track than on social media all over the place.
To be honest, I'm not on social media tracking any of that. So if there's too many balls I have to juggle. So if you send me something and I get a report of concern or an email, I'm on top of it. That's where I gotta let my
I don't
focus.
even look on them. Better off
It's
just.
a good way to ruin your weekend, that's for sure.
You wish to commit suicide, you go on there.
don't even touch it.
Anything else on this one? Did we answer your question?
Yeah. I
Okay,
just-
great. Okay.
Rules of debate and decorum. Again, we've already been through this. Again, the mayor runs the meeting, make sure that mayor's gonna ensure that everything runs smoothly, and
11.
again.
11? Oh, I
Oh,
thought
wait,
we
where
were
are
on the standing committee.
Yeah, but
Oh,
there
we
were
didn't-
no changes to standing
Yeah.
committees.
What is a ex-officer or whatever that is?
Ex officio,
Yeah, ex officio, what is that?
ex officio member.
So
Yes,
the mayor just attends the meeting, she doesn't have a vote, essentially, she's just
You
there.
can go to everybody's meeting.
but she
Yeah.
can make a quorum.
So the
If,
So she- if-
I'll let the attorney explain.
No, not on the standing committee, and nor she can make a quorum if I believe there's only 3 council members that show up, but that's, again, that goes to the Faulkner Act of when you guys have a quorum.
But these are
Ex
just
officio.
regular
officio.
meetings.
By
These are just
nature of
regular
her
committee
office.
By
meetings.
nature
I
of
can
office.
attend all of them.
Oh,
So
okay.
she,
So if
can attend.
3 council members are there and she shows up, that's fine.
not a standing committee, I'm talking about I'm talking about your public
No,
meeting.
this is understanding
Standing committee.
committee. This
Yeah,
is what
it's
this
actually-
says.
Can I, Mayor?
Terry, 1
I'm
second.
sorry, this one came up a lot prior to Mayor Foster, and what our practice is, I'll tell you, I'm not gonna tell the law or the rules order, is the mayor has all the committee meetings on her calendar.
Yes.
I ask her not to come. If she really wants to come, she's got to give us 48 hours notice so that we can notice the meeting that we might have a quorum there. And so that's our practice. So she does know, like, if Public Works is meeting tomorrow at 8:30. But you'll know she doesn't come unless she has a concern that she wants to bring to you, and she would reach out to whoever the chair of the committee is. at
And
that
let you
point.
know what, or
So,
if I have any concern, I'll
so-
send an email with.
so I guess she has
whatever
the
my
right to do that, but we have a practice of noticing those meetings if we think there's a chance we would have a quorum. Now, I don't know enough about Faulkner Acts and this and that, if that is or isn't a quorum, but that's been our, to be on the side of caution, that's been our practice. We try to share the agendas for the committee with her, when I distribute them, so that she has the opportunity to sit in if she feels it's important. So that's how we've kind of navigated that requirement.
Answer the
She
question.
have to be,
No.
We'll come yelling, they're yelling at me.
Oh, so you can be in the know.
Yeah, absolutely in the know, gotta be in the know. All right, anything else on this one, standing committee?
No. Nomination, I don't think there's any changes to nomination boards or commissions, ordinances and resolutions.
Anything on boards and commission, this is an important one,
Yeah, sorry.
board and commissions? About the filling of the boards and commission, and I know we were working with Jen to like kind of streamline some of it and put the codes on and everything else
That's a
like that.
separate
Yeah.
Oh,
project.
this is- Okay. Yes, yeah.
Ordinances and resolutions, I think that's
We went over that.
pretty, right?
Yeah, pretty
okay.
straightforward.
Adoption and
Mhm.
term regarding the rules of rules of order and rules of debate and
Mhm. And speaking to the
And
microphone, as I
decorum.
always remind everyone, at every meeting, speaking to the microphone.
That's why I want a question under rules
Councilmember.
of debate.
Yeah,
Do we want to add in, I don't think it's really necessary, but do we want to add in the council member shall identify themselves when speaking? Or when beginning to speak for purposes of identifying for under TTH and federal law?
oh, wow, council member, every council member there just speak for any purposes whatsoever may address, oh, okay, that's a different thing. Oh, so you're saying just to identify themselves before speaking? Council member once recognized me, okay.
Yeah, because that's a
Yeah,
new
we could
thing.
just,
Yeah, it's a new thing.
we could add that, we could add a placeholder, so you must identify yourself before you speak.
yeah, just like,
I'm
just like
council
we-
member George and blah, 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 blah,
you
blah.
know,
Mhm.
like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. We can have something like that. That's fine.
That's cool.
Um, Correspondence, there are no changes there.
I'm not.
You have a question?
Yeah,
Under section 3, interruption, should we add that members of council or the mayor shall not interrupt a member of the public while they are speaking during their allotted time?
Depends. Because if somebody's being obscene,
The mayor can interrupt if.
Well, the mayor can.
The mayor can
For
interrupt.
point of order, correct.
point of order, yes.
Point of order or.
But the council members should not, because we have time when we just need to act in a certain way. Because at any time, I can always use the gavel and say point of order to anyone.
Yes. Yes, in order to
So I
keep
have that
the
discretion
the
to
meeting.
keep
Yes,
the quorum in
yes.
the meeting.
Yes, that's
Mhm.
kind of like the overall
Mhm.
about this.
Right.
member should abstain on the vote unless the council member places on the record for the reason for the abstention.
Yeah, no, not
Where's
so
that?
much.
Right there,
Five.
5.
I think that needs to be
Yeah,
struck.
what, I don't want that there.
That needs to be struck. The only time a member of any governing body has to state why they voted is a planning board when they're voting against the master plan,
Mhm.
and that's it.
And I think that's it.
So we're gonna look at number five. Number five is questionable.
Yes, I think you said you wanted to remove that,
Yeah,
correct?
I would like
Okay.
it removed.
I can see it's in the old.
Yes.
It's in the old one.
Yeah.
Fresh
These-
eyes.
these
We were
go back a
fine.
ways.
I don't think we were.
I think these are pretty close to the ones Carolyn has on file downstairs.
They were from the
And you
sixties.
have-
These are from the.
That's before you and Carolyn in 2000.
Yeah, exactly. This is like phew, from the
There's
sixties.
probably word perfect coding.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, Lord.
These people who were listening like, what is DOS? Okay, all right, adjournment, okay.
Public comment?
Are we done on the?
Are we
rules?
done on the rules?
Are we done?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, I apologize, Mayor. I should've-
Okay.
Still.
No, Stephanie's still going. over
Okay.
it.
I put these up on file.
Careful.
Did I get it?
Yeah, maybe, but I'm charged.
Oh, this is, this last one, the rules.
Sorry, I didn't know you were going that way.
Liability.
2/3.
Vote on the roll call and everything.
And take. Taking our two consecutive.
Oh, so this has to go on like twice?
So which one are you looking at?
She's looking at
That's a good
section 3. Rules may be altered.
Rules may be altered or amended only by 2/3 vote.
Wait, what?
Vote taken at 2. So you're essentially doing this like, this is more for an ordinance, but you pass this as a resolution. When you
So why
adopted
don't we
your-
just revisit that and see what, based on our procedure?
We may have to,
Or our code.
yeah.
What is this, section 2 for?
Yeah, do we need
No,
a
no.
special committee to consider it first before it can even move to a resolution that we vote on 2 times?
I should have been reading this
Work
stuff.
session?
You, boy, when you, how you do? Jeez. She said, whoa, no, she gave some examples.
Don't give that
No,
example.
no, that was in another town, not that one, but that a mayor put, each council member has to give me $1 or something, and they all voted on it. And when I was like reading this now, like, what?
We'll take a look at I'll take a look at the
Well, you
code.
can put it
On
in
this?
there.
Why don't we-
Mayor, is that
I
okay?
think we're gonna
Yes,
have to take all the recommendations and suggestions and then screen it through our existing code. If there's
Yes.
any
Yes, yes.
conflicts,
Any
we'll have to
conflicts.
figure out how to deal with it.
And flush them out.
And
Let's
flush
get the stuff
them
from
out.
1960s
I think a
to
lot
align
of
with the
these-
2000s.
A lot of these we can do, and then I guess the question is, this whole, how do you amend these
How do you-
things?
how do you-
Obviously, we've been doing it by resolution.
You're right.
Right.
So we'll have to figure that out.
Yes.
They locked
You go
us
through
in
you
here.
go through the amendments and then you have
We're
to
locked in
have your
here.
meeting, 2/3 meeting to amend it, to remove this, we'll figure that out.
Yeah. That's why you
Yeah.
guys.
We got a lot of moving
Yes.
parts.
You gotta have 2 meetings to get rid of it.
Exactly.
Now you can see why people keep their rules of order.
They're like, no, there's too much work. We just keeping what we have.
It's probably fine at the first one, when you first adopt it, like you can do the normal resolution procedure, but then I think the idea is you're locked in for the
Midstream
year.
kind of thing.
And then, but if you're gonna change it in the middle of the year, then you gotta go through all this process.
Right, right,
So maybe
exactly.
what we'll do is we'll look at how this all lines up and we can make the decision, is it pressing or do we wait till January,
Right.
Yes.
And that's a lot of this is what we're looking at now, because we want to clean up our ordinances, our rules, and make sure that for the next go around, when we adopt next year, that we're in perfect alignment. So we can just move forward.
Agreed.
Exactly.
Any other questions on this? Okay.
Can we tell Hirsch that we voted to get rid of the public works? Committee?
I'm not getting,
No.
No.
That he has to be recognized by 3 other council members and the mayor. Oh my God.
you're gonna.
Forget about public comment.
We all, council president has to recognize you too. Oh my God.
Okay.
Terry,
No,
when you put it
Council-
together,
you
could
meant
you put it
council
so
member?
we can see the outline?
the workup, yeah, the
Yeah,
workup.
sure.
Yes, we can definitely do that, yes.
But you'll definitely see the markups.
That's good.
All right, and now it's time for public comments. Total time allotted, 21 minutes, 3 minutes per speakers, limited to item on this agenda. Comments from members of the public attending in person will be heard first, followed by those who are attending on Zoom. Before we go there, do we have anyone on Zoom?
I do have 3 attendees on Zoom.
Okay. Anyone from the public who wishes to speak can do so now. Step up to the microphone, identify yourself.
I'm confused, is public comment, because you said public on the agenda, or maybe I confused myself, but I
We're on the public participation. You have 3 minutes.
didn't say anything. Thank you. Am I recognized?
Please identify yourself.
Jersey Watcher YouTube channel broadcasting worldwide. Am I recognized?
Yes, please speak.
Thank you. So how many board members here in Highland Park, please raise your hand, think it's inappropriate for a 10-year-old at a library to go into the young adult section and be able to open up a book, a child pornographic book that teaches one boy to give another boy fellatio? Any show of hands? You think it's inappropriate? So none of them think it's inappropriate. Yeah, recently I went to the Highland Park Library. I checked the young adult section ages. It's through 10 to 22. And they didn't just have this book in the library. They had it as a standout, you know, genderqueer. This book is gay. One of those two on pages 160 actually has one boy, it's teaching boys, one boy how to give another boy fellatio. Raise your hands, anyone think it's inappropriate here in Highland Park Council? The child, essentially child pornography. Are you aware that it's illegal to provide children with child pornography? Raise the hands if you think it's disgusting to provide children with child pornography. 3 different occasions, 3 times. They don't care. They don't care. How much time do I have left?
I'm not Jen timing.
Jen, how
Sorry.
much time we got left?
124.
124. There's a lot of things I disagree with here tonight, but I'll address them at another time. Limit people for 21 minutes, you know, so I can come here with 7 people and make sure not one Highland Park resident speaks. That's a little bit insane. But I love this town. I know it's a good town. Sometimes a little bit too liberal. Is that why you guys are not raising your hands? How many of you up there think it's disgusting to provide child pornography at the Highland Park Library? Anybody? We're just ignoring members of the public. Members of the public come here to let you know about child pornography in the library. Highland Park Library refuses to give out grievance forms. They say on their grievance form, the only way you can give us a grievance is if you're a resident.
30
of Highland-
seconds.
Is if you're a resident of Highland Park. How many seconds?
30.
And I want to know which, because you guys had the best lawyer in the world. Why would you guys hire Raynon Coughlin-Minchello when they recently banned the American flag? And there's so many news articles of them funneling money and stealing money from all the townships. Whose great idea was it to hire Coughlin and Raynon? The scumbags. She's all right though. She was all right, but you know, your firm still banned the American flag. Oh.
Time.
Any other comments from members of the public?
So I can really see. I'm going to choose to remain anonymous tonight. May I proceed?
Go ahead.
Thank you. There's a lot of things I want to say, and I only have 3 minutes, which is unfortunate. It doesn't give me enough proper time to actually thank you guys for what I see. You guys have good energy. I like what I'm hearing. Councilman George, I believe it is. I agree with like almost everything you said. It's very rare tonight. And I appreciate Councilman Hale, the questions that you rose up. Wording and terminology is very, very important. And my fear with the Coughlin Law Firm is that they do these things specifically with, I believe, an intent to possibly try to have litigation because they play tug of war with people's rights and people's freedoms. And in your elected capacity, they're playing with your rights by using the incorrect verbiage. Can is different than must. Must and shall are different than can and should. I was arrested in Mobile for filming a meeting, just as I'm doing here tonight. They had a resolution that said you can ask for prior permission. Torres versus Pine Hill, 2007, Supreme Court law gives us a common law right to film these meetings. But I was plucked out of there by the mayor, Mayor LaCicero, his son, who was the sergeant who arrested me, and his other son was the chief. And the judge threw the case out. It was dismissed. I filed a motion pro se for dismissal. I was granted. It was expunged. And the judge said, can is not must. It's not shall. So when you see must, you know what that means legal. It's not about tweaking things, because it changes everything when you change the one word. I don't think it's enough time for the public to speak. 5 minutes. I would love to address a lot of the stuff that happened tonight. I have a Facebook group called Government Entities that restrict their Facebook pages and townships. And to touch on that, really what it comes down to is, yes, those things are operable, but the Kaufman law firm will deny those requests. That's exactly what will happen. You have to sue for your rights. So if your phones are all operable, it's true, but they will block it. They will ignore the request, and then they will have to be sued, just like I'm suing for my case versus New Jersey. And part of the ruling was anonymous communications are permissible within government. That's part of the OPMA. It's my First Amendment right to come here and remain anonymous and redress my grievances with government. And I think we really should think about maybe having more than 3 minutes, because
30 seconds.
I'm under the gun. What do we do about disability people who speak slowly, maybe have to process things a little bit more? Councilman Hale, I appreciate the stuff that I read about you with making sure that buildings are ADA compliant and public buildings. It's very important. I've been to hundreds of council meetings all over New Jersey. I've seen Brielle, no wheelchair access for the police station or their council meeting. We had 3 people who were in wheelchairs. They couldn't even get into the council meeting. But if they arrest you in Brielle, they'll go take your money in Manitowoc court because it's ADA accessible. They actually were spending $500,000, over almost $1 million.
Thank you. Anyone on Zoom for public comment?
No hands up, Mayor. There are now 4 attendees, just.
4 attendees, no hands up? Okay. Seeing that there's no one else, may I have a motion to close public participation?
So moved.
Nobody on Zoom?
No hands up.
Oh,
We're only
Oh, sorry.
council members.
Reflex.
Roll call?
I need a second.
Second.
Councilmember George,
Yes.
Councilmember Hale,
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho Han.
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas.
Yes.
Okay. All right. May I have a motion to adjourn public? May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good
Good night, everyone. Next meeting is.